going to talk about service. When I was younger, and for much of my life, I thought of myself as being a very helpful person and having a desire to help others. And what I've realized is that actually I'm here to serve. And there is a distinction in that. And through service, we can certainly be helpful. What caused this change in my thinking, again, and I refer to this very often, is my lessons in the martial arts. And about 6 years ago, I started to become deeply immersed within the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and my first sensei, Saulo Ribeiro. If you know Jiu-Jitsu, you know who that is. He's one of the greatest fighters, competitors of all time, as well as his younger brother Shanji is one of the greatest also of all time. And so I had been a long-time friend with Shanji for about 15 years before I ever started Jiu-Jitsu, but I was his kettlebell coach, and I would see him multiple times throughout the year. At that time, I was still traveling quite extensively around the world. I taught kettlebell seminars in 70 different countries between 2006 and 2020, just prior to the onset of the global pandemic. In fact, one of the last international seminars I did was in Singapore, in Malaysia, and Taiwan. And this was like February of 2020, and the COVID was already over there, and they were enacting protocols, but the COVID, didn't hit here in US until March of 2020. Anyway, so with the onset of the global pandemic, I stopped traveling for a while. There was no possibility, and then I made a transition to teaching virtually. However, in that extensive years of traveling, it has given me great insights. Some of my insights just comes by virtue of being 54 and being here for some time, and a lot of the insights just comes from my unique life experience, having the opportunity to be immersed in many different cultures, many different people, many different languages and customs. And I've taken something from all of these experiences, and like all of us, wins and losses and struggles. So talking about service, early on in the jiu-jitsu, Saulo, I'm very grateful that he took an interest in me. I think largely because he was familiar with my work with the kettlebell, and because of the mutual friendship and affection between Shanji and I. So he sort of took me in, which is unusual for like a white belt just trying to work up through the ranks. Don't normally have that type of close access to the head honcho. But I was fortunate to be able to do that, and we spent a lot of time together for that first couple of years, until about 4 years ago. Saulo moved back to Brazil, so I haven't seen him since, but I still consider him my sensei and always will. I have other senseis as well, and I'm grateful for all of them. But Saulo and I were speaking a lot and spending time together during that period. And I don't recall the specific conversation that led to the conversation I'm going to share with you now. Saulo asked me a question, and I said something. I said essentially, well, I'm here to help. And Saulo said, no, no, you're here to serve and help others who will help themselves. And that was like a light bulb aha moment where I really started thinking about that, and subsequently to that conversation, and I come to agree with that and come to realize the wisdom in that, and so I want to share that with you. Again, I've considered myself always a helpful person, wanting to help others. I want for others what I want for myself. I want for myself what I want for others. And I believe we're all connected at some level. And I don't believe there's a hierarchy among humanity or even among the animal kingdom in terms of value, even though there's certainly organizational hierarchy. There's certainly hierarchy in terms of skill sets. But in terms of the value of life, there is no hierarchy. And so being a person who's, empathetic and wanting to impact and leave a positive effect on those I interact with, and essentially leaving the world better off than the world we step into, for our children, for your children, for all of our children, for the next generations. And I feel called to do my part and share what I can. And so the basic idea and the take-home message here is service is really how we help. And so because we cannot help someone who will not help themselves. And so I am here to serve, and in that service to help those who will help themselves, because nobody can do the deep inner work for you. That's your responsibility, and that's what is necessary in order for you to evolve beyond the current level, whatever that may be, whether it's a skill set or one aspect of your life, and you want to manifest greater abundance in one form or another. And so that's some food for thought, whatever wisdom you may find in that. If it benefits you, well, I'm happy about that. And so I'm here to serve, and if I can be of service, please feel comfortable to reach out to me.